Let's talk about these one at a time. We got about an hour. We got plenty of time here to talk about these. First one I see is that first big mistake is people being oblivious. Mountain Man Medical has name brand proven trauma medical supplies with a price match guarantee to ensure you get the right gear at the right price. Check them out at get-asp.com/mountainman. And now, listen, we all spend time being oblivious. And I know sometimes in the self-defense world we get this kind of shibboleth that you've always got to have. Head on a swivel. Situational awareness. Be polite, be professional, have a plan to kill everyone you meet. Anybody ever heard that?
Yeah. Yes.
Man, I've met 150 people here today.
I don't want to die.
Well, and like, if I'm looking at that person, I'm like, okay, I could stab that guy in the eye with my pen. And I can, that's just, you know what we call that? We call that post-traumatic stress disorder. Seriously, you know where that came from? The idea, be polite, be professional, have a plan to kill everyone you meet. You know who invented that? Jim Mattis. Okay, Chaos invented that when he was, I think, battalion commander in Iraq. And that was him telling his Marines, you're going outside the wire. Everybody who's not wearing that uniform is potentially somebody who could kill you. Be polite, Marines. Be professional, Marines. Everyone you meet out there who's not on your team could kill you. And then those Marines weren't taught, hey, as soon as you come home, change that. Take it off. And they struggled to take it off. And guess what that caused? Massive PTSD. Because it couldn't take it off. And then, so guess what they started doing? They started staying at home so that they didn't go outside and meet nobody, and that started causing big problems, okay? So you can't live like that. You can't, all right? The other side, we can't be, you can't be completely hyper-vigilant. Hyper-vigilance will lead to adrenal fatigue and will cause you huge problems, and I don't want you to do that. But I do want you to not be oblivious to your world. I literally had a guy, I was walking through the exhibit hall earlier today, and a young guy who's had his phone like this, and he's and he literally just walked right into the side of me. I'm standing talking to somebody, I'm like, bonk, oh, hey, how are you, friend? And sorry, back to my phone, you know? Holy cow, so that thought vacuum, right, your smartphone can be a big problem. But we call this the art of paying attention. And I don't tell people, you know, you gotta have situational awareness. Have you ever heard that phrase, situational awareness? How do you use situational awareness? Now, here's my hard part for this, is that, listen, when you say, well, you need to learn situational awareness, how do I situational aware? Especially, your mama taught you how to do this when you were 4. She just said, pay attention. Well, pay attention to what, Mom? Pay attention to whatever is important that you need to be aware of in your space so that you don't get hurt, so that you know what's going on. So particularly, you're about to cross the street, you say, hey, pay attention. What would she say? Look both ways so you don't get smushed. Anybody here taking that to the place where even on a one-way street you look both ways? That's how much I trust drivers, right? Look both ways down a one-way street. So Mom says pay attention. And I think that's a much easier way to live. Just pay attention to your world. Especially because situational awareness is only 1/3 of paying attention. Paying attention starts with personal awareness, okay? Paying attention starts with being aware of who am I, what's going on in me and on me right now. So what do I mean by that? This morning, I had a headache. I'm not saying I had a headache because I might have had a little too much to drink last night. I'm not saying that. But I woke up and I had a headache. And so my eyes, I was squinty. And I was like, gosh, man, my head, I need some coffee or something. So my head hurts. So is that something that I need to know to see what are my threats around me and what's going on? So that personal awareness might mean I'm feeling anxious today and I don't know why. Or I'm having that mean, grumpy sucker in my head tell me I'm no good right now. Ever happen to anybody? So once you know that, that's personal awareness. This is what's going on inside me. Now I have to have environmental awareness. What kind of location am I in and what's normal here? What's my baseline? What is going on in this environment and is it normal? A normalcy basis. That's environmental awareness. So say for instance in here, okay, fine. We have a bunch of people in here who are hanging out in a classroom listening to a lecture and everything is normal and as we would expect it. Now all of a sudden if we had somebody come in here who was like, had a big sign and telling us what pieces of crap we were and all that stuff, we haven't experienced any of that this weekend, right? Would we all of a sudden go, that person is in an odd spot and doesn't really belong here? My environment has just changed. My situation for that has just changed. And I, as the person who is controlling kind of the environment as the instructor, would have to maybe say, oh, and what situation are we in? We're in a situation we have somebody that I need to get some help with. So I need to maybe do something about it. So paying attention means personal awareness, environmental awareness, and situational awareness all work together, that I know what's going on and how I need to act based on what's going on in my world. So this is what we say all the time. Attention buys you time, and time buys you options. I see so often what happens is that people do not see the threat until it's too late, and they end up getting hurt for it. So the best thing you can do as a concealed carrier to avoid this mistake is simply pay attention in your world. Best part of paying attention in your world is, when you are in public, take this magic device and put it in your pocket. And I get it. I am as addicted to my smartphone as anybody else. I always need that dopamine hit, or my wife needs something, or one of my children needs something. Anybody else have kids that are always texting you and want things? I love my children. I have teenagers. Whew. Okay? So keeping that in your pocket instead, especially in public, or I see people that they decide, oh, I'm going to sit here and talk on the phone and just zone out. Does it happen to you too? You start talking to somebody else on the phone and all of a sudden, one of the reasons they tell you to not talk on the phone when you're driving if you can, because it's way worse talking on the phone with somebody who's not in the car with you than talking to somebody who is in the car with you. So let those distractions be minimum. Got an example of this for you. If you were at the seminar yesterday, you've already seen it. But this is San Bernardino, California. And in San Bernardino here, what we have is we have the getaway car at the top, and then we have this young man down here who is our victim. Can you see what his problem is? He's got his phone out. He's walking into a UPS store. Okay, in this strip mall. And because he is on his phone, now the other part of this phone is not only does it sap your attention, but what does it signal to a potential attacker? You have a valuable item. This pocket supercomputer is worth a significant amount of money for most people. And therefore you have valuables. And you're not paying attention in your world when you're on this, so they can sneak up on you. And it's like Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. Remember when you'd see the lion sitting in the grass next to the watering hole? Waiting. Go ahead, Mr. Gazelle. Put your head down. Drink some water so I can jump you. And you won't see it until it's too late. So that's what's going on here. You're going to watch him walk up this way. You're going to see two dudes walk behind him that he is completely oblivious to. One of them is going to pull a big yellow crowbar out from under his jacket. And they're going to jump him for his stuff. Now watch him show up over here. Look at him, he's just sitting on his phone. Please rob me. Dude pulls the crowbar. They grab a hold of him and start jacking him for his stuff. Oh, look, I'm going to grab his phone, whatever. Now, this is this guy's luckiest day on earth because 4 dudes were in the UPS store and they come out and go, hey, that's not very nice. And they run those dudes off into their car and he didn't even lose his phone. Now, not paying attention in your world is a completely solvable problem. And who is responsible for it?
You are.
100%, nobody else can do that. Now, I will say this. I say 100% you are, except, generally speaking, if you're a mom with small kids, or you're a dad with small kids too, for that matter, if you're a parent with small children, they will suck up your attention and there ain't nothing you can do about it. Okay? And you have to be able to live with that. I'm not saying that you go, well, wait a minute, so should I just tell my kids, you just shut up. Let me know how that works out with your average 3-year-old. Okay? My point rather being, listen, do your best to be able to pay attention in your world and don't let these kinds of things happen to you. We see this happen very regularly, that somebody is walking. If you're a fan of the channel, we just had a security guard literally murdered in Atlanta. Gets out of his car, dude's walking right up behind him, doesn't see him, nothing, closes his door, and is just bebopping into his place, doesn't see the guy, literally just walk up behind him and shoot him in the back of the head. Really felt like a personal beef to me. He did rob him, take his stuff, but I don't think it was random. So again, you look behind you and you go, hey, that guy and I had beef the other day. Weird. Probably wouldn't do that, right? So instead, pay attention in your world. That's a pretty big deal.